Hi, I'm Ursa, and this video is going to be a cute little build where you can kind of start simple and then slowly upgrade it if you're playing in survival, add different layers and details and decorations and things. So let's get started. Of course, we have to lay down the foundations first. Look, I see all the other builders and YouTubers and people like that starting off with this little grid, so I wanted to be professional and start with a grid too. I made my little foundation box. It was a 7x9 rectangle, and then I made it 5 tall, popped out some windows on each of the sides. I left the back solid because I'm going to add a fireplace in there. For the second level, I did pink wattle and daub, and I made it 1 block larger than my foundation, so it's kind of overhanging a little bit. Now I'm popping in the roof. Pretty standard roof, nothing special there. On the top, popping in windows again. Now I decided to add in a little, a little bay window out in the front. Then going in for the roof, I went for I think it was the red shingles on the roof. I really liked this combo because it kind of looked pinkish. It matched the pink wattle and daub very well. And then the granite cobblestone has like a little speckling of like a few different colors in with the gray. So I feel like it looked nice together. There I am. There were so many wolves around my area that I was trying to build at. They kept howling and I kept getting distracted by them running around. Anyways, for my little bay window, I added a roof, and then on the flooring, you could either do some of this debarked log if you don't have copper tools yet. If you do have copper, you can use your saw and make some planks. I found that the oak worked really well with the granite because the granite does have some of those little darker speckles in there. And then I just popped in some windows. At first, you can just use the big glass blocks, and then eventually when you get the resources, you can swap those out for the actual windows with lead panes. For my second floor, I just went in with the oak planks again. If you're in survival, I would highly recommend swapping those out for the slabs. And then I just popped in a door. Look at my little wolfie in the background. In the corner, I decided to pop in ladders. I am struggling to actually figure out how to make nice like stairs in such a tight space, so I always just end up adding a corner ladder. Now we're working on the chimney fireplace situation. I did this a little bit differently than normal. I ended up with kind of like a plus shape. You'll see in a moment it pops up. I did the little plus shape. I filled it in down below. Then in the corners, I just filled those in with the cobblestone fencing. And that's it for our little bare bones foundation. It's all in the details, I tell ya. One of my favorite tricks to make the exterior look a little bit more interesting is adding the stone fencing all the way around the bottom of the outside. And then underneath, I started playing around with the wooden beams, and I'm sticking with the oak. They are very frustrating to work with. I was struggling. I rage quit a few times. I logged out and all this and that. But I decided to use those beams in all of the corners, the inner corners and the outer corners. Yeah, after a while, I kind of got the hang of it, but still very frustrating. I told you I was going crazy with the beams. I also decided to put the beams all the way around all of the windows. And now underneath the like little pink wattle daub extended part, I added some foundations just so it would look like it was more supported, a little bit more realistic architecturally. I don't know if they're in like proper positions, but it looks more supportive. I added in a little beam trim around the door as well that matched the roof. Here's a little look-see of our progress so far. Now we're finally stepping foot inside. Can someone please go back in time and tell me to put the beams down, girl? Put those beams down. I think we're kind of over the beams, so I'm just gonna cut the rest of it out. I got a little bit distracted by chiseling at this point, so instead of showing you every single thing that I placed down, I'm kind of just going to walk you through the whole exterior and interior. The grand reveal! So let's see what we got in here. On the bottom floor is kind of like a workshop, a little cooking station. We have our pies out here, some storage, like a little mini armory in here, and some decorational things in here too. I can never figure out how to make like nice stairs in such a small room, so I just popped the ladder in the corner. So I told myself I wasn't gonna go crazy with the chiseling, and then I went and I made that, and just a little bit of that, and a little bit of that too. So upstairs is kind of like a bedroom. I have a lot of decorational items, but also some storage. I got carried away and made this pretty little room divider just so I could have a little nook with my bed, and then this separates it a little bit. I made it from chert and then some pink glass. I love having the little chunks of stuff on shelves. And then I believe this is a mod where you can place different items on the bookshelves, so not just the books. We have a little fireplace. I didn't go too crazy with the chiseling. For the outside, I went kind of crazy with the beams as well. I added them on all the outer and inner corners. I tried to do a little bit of a design here. I don't know how I feel about it. So there you go, that's my build. This was kind of like a quicker paced edit. I didn't show you every single detail of like the decorating and stuff. So let me know what you thought of that. And of course, if you're interested, subscribe for more, like the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye!